Ah, I love that.
Listen. Question. Why do we talk out loud when we know we're alone? Conjecture. Because we know we're not. Why is there no such thing as perfect hiding? Logically, if evolution were to perfect a creature whose primary skill were to hide from view, how could you know it existed? It could be with us every second.
Oh. It's chalk? Okay then. That's a fantastic cold open. Danny Pink in a pink shirt.
Straight to dinner.
I like a man who moves fast.
Yeah. I might go straight for extras.
Oh boy. Reel it back in.
Afters. Dessert.
Yes, I know. I know.
Straight
Dessert.
to dessert.
Gotcha.
I wasn't making assumptions about you.
That really is exactly what you were doing.
You were making assumptions about me.
I made a joke.
A not funny joke.
Yeah, well, do you know what I'm making now?
Fuss.
An exit.
An exit.
What if no one is ever really alone? What if every single living being has a companion, a silent passenger?
Ooh.
A shadow?
Ooh.
What if the prickle on the back of your neck is the breath of something close behind you?
How long have you been traveling alone? It looks like your handwriting.
Well, I couldn't have written it and forgotten, could I?
Have you met you?
Ah.
What's all this?
TARDIS telepathic interface. You're now in mental contact with the TARDIS, so don't think anything rude.
Why not?
Might end up on all the screens.
The TARDIS has extrapolated your entire timeline.
If I had been distracted, what would have happened?
We would probably have ended up in the wrong place. But don't think we have,
Duh.
because the time zone's right.
So I'm looking at the... Yeah. Oh, that's not creepy at all. Oh, Danny Pink. I mean,
What are you doing down there?
She was thinking about him.
Nothing?
Ask the name.
What's your name?
Rupert.
Oh, okay.
Rupert Pink. It's a stupid name.
No, it isn't. I know somebody called Pink.
I meant Rupert. I'm going to change it.
To Danny. Ooh, I like this. Yeah? Okay.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah. Is no one there? Oh my god.
Hello?
Ooh, okay.
Playing a trick, are
I'm
you?
getting
hey?
the chills.
Little trick on Rupert here.
Scared is a superpower. It's your superpower. There is danger in this room, and guess what? It's you. You feel it?
Oh god.
What is it?
Imagine a thing that must never be seen. What would it do if you saw it?
I don't know.
Neither do I. Close your eyes.
What? Am I safe now?
Nobody's safe, especially not at night, in the dark. Anything can get you.
Love the
Door up
store.
here, you're all alone. People don't need to be lied to.
People don't need to be scared by a big grey-haired stick insect, but here you are. Stay still. Shut up. A soldier's so brave, he doesn't need a gun. He can keep the whole world safe.
Dan.
Sorry?
Dan the Soldier Man. That's what I call him.
Good. Good name.
That's the name he's going to take.
Once upon a time,
Yeah.
dad skills.
Will he remember any of that?
Scrambled his memory. Gave him a big old dream about being Dan the Soldier Man.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Mind you, Rupert Pink.
Oh.
Sorry?
Oh, she slipped up.
Rupert Pink. Not good.
Rupert, is this a joke?
Danny, nothing about this is any kind of joke.
Oh
It's a normal, nice, everyday meeting up sort of thing. And I would just like to know, is there any
Is
other
that-
way you can make this any more surreal than it already is?
I think... Yeah.
Hello. and you will never guess where I found him.
That looks fantastic.
Where are we?
The end of the road. This is it. The end of everything.
If he's 100 years, it might
Pioneer time traveler. Wrote the first of the great time shots. They were supposed to fire.
Orson Pink. I thought you said Awesome
What
Pink.
happened?
Went a bit far.
A bit.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, fine. I'm fine.
Do I know you?
No. Nope.
She's doing the all eyes thing. It's because her face is so wide. She needs 3 mirrors.
Doctor.
Afraid of the dark, but the dark is empty now.
No. No, it isn't.
Wow.
You didn't look like you believed him.
That's just how my face looks when he talks.
Dan.
It's just a silly toy thing. Family heirloom, supposed to bring good luck.
Right. Yes. Do me a favor. Take my advice. When you get home, stay away from time travel.
Runs in the family.
What?
It's a silly story. One of my grandparents. Well, great-grandparents.
What is it? Tell me.
Yeah.
You asked if you knew me. It's a family heirloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, your family.
What's that in the mirror or the corner of your eye? What's that footstep following but never passing by? Why are you still here?
Because I am not going to leave you in danger.
Then you will never travel with me again because that is the deal. TARDIS, now do as you are told.
Oh man.
You're an idiot.
I know.
Telepathic circuits, I'll have to trace in them before.
So?
So apparently, I can do a thing.
Well, that's your plan.
It's not a plan, it's a thing.
Do a thing.
You can do it.
He doesn't want to join the army, I keep telling you.
Well, he's not going to the academy, is he, that boy? He'll never make a Time Lord.
What?
Sontar is perverting the course of human history.
Hello? Who's there?
Oh.
Hello?
Oh wow. Oh wow. Beautiful.
What if the big bad Time Lord doesn't want to admit he's just afraid of the dark? Take off and promise me you will never look where we've been.
Why?
Just take off. Don't ask questions.
I don't take orders, Clara.
Do as you're told. But very clever people can hear dreams. So please just listen. Fear is a superpower. Fear can make you faster and cleverer and stronger. And one day, you're going to come back to this barn, and on that day, you're going to be very afraid indeed. But that's okay,
Oh my god.
because if you're very wise and very strong, fear doesn't have to make you cruel or cowardly. Fear can make you kind.
No, not the Hobbit. No, I'm against the Hobbit, please.
Oh wow.
So listen. If you listen to nothing else, listen to this. You're always going to be afraid. Even if you learn to hide it, fear is like a companion. A constant companion, always there.
Wow.
But that's okay, because fear can bring us together.
Yeah.
Fear can bring you home. I'm gonna leave you something just so you'll always remember. Fear makes companions of us all.
Okay, so I think I just got my first Capaldi era classic. Absolute classic, in my opinion at least. I should add that because, I know as of this point, I've been doing this for a few years now. These episodes can be hit and miss. I'm sure for a lot of people this might be a miss. There's some interesting things going on in here, especially in terms of Clara once again kind of chalking up her legacy and her role in the Doctor's life, her prominent role in the Doctor's life. That final sequence is incredible in terms of course, the beautiful moment that is taking place, but also in terms of the moment that is taking place and happening. And I'll come back to that aspect of it, of course. But yeah, I believe, beyond just the Capaldi era, this is actually one of the all-timers. And, in terms of the all-timers, I mean something like, top 25, top 30, right? Now it's gone beyond top 10, top 20. I've seen so many episodes at this point that, I kind of have to start saying things like top 25, top 30, maybe even top 40 at this point. I kind of regret not kind of keeping up with like a list. I think I used to do that, right? Earlier in maybe the first 2, 3, or 4 seasons or series. I used to do that, right? It's not that difficult to kind of recall all the episodes I really liked. I can probably fire off at least 10 to 15 at a moment's notice in terms of, clear-cut classics. Episodes that I just adore and I just really love. Of course, in true Moffat fashion, it's quite the clever script. It's one of the most Moffat-like episodes yet. It really is. But the thing I really love about this is that it's clear to see that at its core, it's not about the cleverness of the script. At its core, it's defined by compassion and empathy. Clara is the one who's kind of center stage. Hell, you could even say she's the lead in this episode. Hell, you could even say she's taken up the Doctor role in this episode. And see, that's the thing that I'm thinking could be an issue for some, right? Listen, I can't say at this moment that it's an issue for me or anything to see her in this role, right? I think it makes sense given the fact that it's still early days for Capaldi, for the 12th Doctor, right? He's still kind of finding himself. But that being said, it appears that he has been traveling by himself, just by himself, for quite a long time at this point. Clara even asked him. You can see clearly that once again, him traveling by himself can kind of make him a little bit paranoid. This new paranoia-induced idea kind of gives Clara some reason for concern, right? She kind of asked him in a joking manner almost, but she's not wrong to ask him, right? Because she can understand. She's been around the Doctor long enough to understand this is the type of thing that can happen. And listen, it's becoming clear that more so than any other Doctor before him, and of course I can only speak of the 3 I've seen before him, this Doctor, the 12th, has this obsessive urge to just know everything. The need to know everything, the need to explain everything. That being said, by the end of it, you see that he is kind of able to let go, right? He is able to let go and he is kind of listening to Clara for that moment. But of course, for a long chunk of this episode, it's dominated by his obsessive need to just know. So much so that it takes him to the last planet, right? At the end of the universe. And, he ends up lying to Orson Pink. He takes it to that point that he is lying to this man just because he wants to see. He wants to face this thing on the other side. He wants answers to his questions. And speaking of questions and answers, let me tell you about one of my favorite moments in all of Doctor Who. I legitimately mean it, and I'm speaking of the cold open. I loved everything about that scene. The staging inside of that fantastic TARDIS interior. As of this point, yeah, it's legitimately my favorite interior that I've seen. It is. It really is. I'm just in love with that set. I love that they're able to keep it fresh and unique by introducing a different type of interior set, TARDIS interior set, right? Using dynamic angles to, give it more personality, kind of give it more life. Hell, I know it's kind of unrealistic. And I mean, it would certainly require a damn good script and an idea, a fascinating idea. But I would love an episode just staged in that area of the TARDIS, an entire episode, right? Listen, if someone can carry an episode like that, it's Peter Capaldi. Let me tell you about Peter Capaldi. I've been on board for a few episodes at this point. I saw a lot of comments about, you might kind of struggle at first, but give it some time. You'll learn to love Capaldi. Listen, I've been on board since day one. I really enjoyed him in Deep Breath, and then subsequently in every single episode since. And here in this episode, I think you get the best performance out of Peter Capaldi so far. I mean, Capaldi's screen presence is just brilliant, isn't it? I was just clinging to everything he had to say in that cold open, in that, brainstorming session, the Q&A session, questioning and answering his own questions, essentially. I mean, I'm so excited for this Doctor, Capaldi's Doctor. It's such a unique take on it. It's so different. And of course, that was clear, just by the fact that it's a much older actor. And since the time of the Doctor, since I first saw him, I've just been so excited about everything he's putting on screen and everything he's bringing to the role, right? And even the direction, this episode specifically also had some fantastic direction and pacing, beautifully paced, right? This is my type of pacing, right? If you compare it to some of the episodes from early season 7 or series 7, the whole, blockbuster one and done type pacing and approach, that wasn't really my, cup of tea, essentially. Some of those episodes, early series 7, this right here, this deliberate pacing, just letting a lot of these moments sit. You think of those scenes of young Danny Pink, Rupert Pink, and Clara inside of his room. The whole scene, it's beautifully paced, isn't it? And given its time to breathe. And then, of course, you have the Doctor come in, and then again, beautifully paced from that point on as well. That whole scene, just inside that child's bedroom, is one of the best parts of this episode, isn't it? Now, listen, there is something really quite fascinating, right? The whole thing or person under the bed sheets, or bedspread. He called it bedspread. Listen, that is ambiguous, isn't it? Because they're not imagining that. It's not as if all three of them are imagining that is happening. That is something physical. So, it's left a little bit ambiguous. But I'm not sure if I like the idea of it just being another child. I just don't think a child is going to be able to, keep that up for that long, right? I feel like a child is more likely to get spooked himself, or herself trying to pull that off. Seeing these, adults in the room as well. That actually might be one of the most scariest and unsettling moments in all of Doctor Who. I'm not sure if that sounds crazy to say, but to me, that's all it takes, really. Sometimes it doesn't have to be on the nose. It doesn't have to be some creepy design or anything. Someone under a bedsheet and out of focus look at this thing. I mean, to me, it looked like some kind of creature, right? Now, I'm speaking of this, but that's not really the point of this story, is it? Because ultimately, the point here is that the existence of this monster, of a monster, is irrelevant, right? And that it's okay to be afraid because there's nothing wrong, or there's nothing inherently wrong with being afraid, right? It's okay. And I feel like it took a lot of inspiration from a few other standout Doctor Who moments in episodes, right? Episodes like Midnight. But there, there the point was that the nature of the monster is beside the point, right? So I thought there was some influence, some Midnight influence in this episode. I'm telling you, man, the mood and the tone created in this episode is just brilliant, right? Yes, at one point of the episode, it kind of pivots into a different direction, but for long chunks of the episode, I was glued to the screen, right? Hell, this might be the least I've spoken during an episode. It really might be, and that's essentially because of the mood and the tone this episode was able to create, and the fascinating idea behind it all, right? I was just, I was dialed in. And then, of course, a crucial component of that is Murray Gold's incredible score. It is the perfect score for this type of episode, for this type of tone, and the mood that is being created. But also, there is a bit of a tonal shift within the episode, right? You'll get scenes like Danny Pink and Clara's date, right? Of course, a lot of comedic elements to that as well. I mean, it's certainly a bit of a disaster, but, you know, beyond some of the comedic moments of that and really awkward nature of it all, you see the issues there as well, right? That both of them are afraid as well. By the end of it, of course, you know, they both realize it's okay to be afraid. You know, Clara certainly helps Danny realize that as well, as she does for a young Gallifreyan child. Of course, that's the Doctor, and that's just crazy, isn't it? It's just crazy. I just could have never expected something like that to happen. Now, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not Gallifrey, is it? I mean, maybe it is, but I know it's meant to be the same cabin, and it was quite the surprise to see John Hurt featured once again, and, you know, that part of the story kind of being brought back in. It's a lovely touch for sure, but can it just be that easy for the TARDIS to go to Gallifrey? So that cabin is outside of Gallifrey, isn't it? Or maybe the outskirts of Gallifrey. I mean, he's there, right? Young Doctor is there, and then his guardian figures, I suppose. Though, of course, they've also hinted at his mother in the End of Time Part 2 as well, right? That potentially could be his mother. I never really got a confirmation on that. But yeah, so yeah, you'll have to let me know, because I'm not 100% sure if that's actually Gallifrey or if that cabin was in the outskirts of Gallifrey or some other place altogether, right? But it gets tricky then, doesn't it? Because I know they're not able to get to Gallifrey that easily. The TARDIS can't just go there all of a sudden, right? It's meant to be in a pocket universe. And then I suppose, you know, the TARDIS does end up going there to that location, that area, to that moment specifically, right? The Doctor, young Doctor, having his dream moment, right? The thing under the bed dream moment that he believes is more than just a dream. It's something everyone experiences at some point in their life. But yeah, you'll have to let me know. But also, how come the people didn't notice the TARDIS just kind of parked in the corner? And by the people, I mean the guardian figures that came in. And, you know, one of them said, yeah, he doesn't want to be a soldier, right? He doesn't want to join the military, right? Perfectly in line with everything I know about the Doctor, right? But yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy, the impact Clara has had on the Doctor's timeline and his life, essentially. I mean, this is him as a child. Listen, I don't think it's wrong to say that she's actually had quite the impact on his trajectory as the Doctor, right? That's crazy. And then, of course, on that front, you see that Clara and her experiences with children is certainly a focus here, isn't it? You know, of course, young Rupert, Pink, and then, of course, the young Gallifreyan child. And listen, I know she knows it's the Doctor, but, you know, I don't think it was simply a case of, oh, okay, this is the Doctor, I have to go help him as a young child. To her, I think it was more so about, okay, this is a young child who's afraid at the moment. I have to go to him and help him, right? And then I think this child going on to become Doctor kind of comes secondary to that aspect of it. First of all, it's a young child who's afraid. And just like the Doctor, right, the 11th, you know, she cannot stand a young child crying. She has to go to them. And then, of course, you see some of the paradoxes at play. In this case, the bootstrap paradox, right? As she does give the young Doctor the exact same speech that the Doctor gives to Rupert Pink earlier in the episode, right? Exact same speech. And then perhaps there's also a bit of a predestination paradox at play, I think, because you see that ultimately Clara was the reason, right? One of the reasons, essentially. You know, she had some assistance, you know, from the Doctor, his dad skills and all, but it appears that she ended up implanting that idea of Dan, the soldier man, inside of young Rupert's mind. I mean, he ends up defining his adulthood in response to his childhood fear, right? And he ends up becoming the strongest thing he can think of, a soldier. But then, you know, becoming a soldier kind of brings on its own issues for him, right? He becomes this broken individual who's closed off as well, right? So you see the moment that hits Clara, right? And then the Doctor actually thought something's really wrong, and he has to come in and ask her, "Are you okay?" Right? So a bit of that going on. But in terms of, you know, the Pink and Oswald relation, I mean, essentially that is her great-great-grandson, right? Orson Pink. So, I mean, things are getting kind of crazy now, aren't they? So let's see how all of that plays out. I mean, I think I have that right. She is meant to be his great-great-grandmother, right? So yeah, that was really quite surprising that they are going into that direction as well already so soon. Listen, I'll be honest, the Danny Pink character is not someone I'm really latching onto just yet. I think I just need to see more of him. There's nothing wrong with the acting. The acting is great. I think he's doing his part, right? He's able to sell these moments. It's just the character itself. It's not really making much of an impact just yet. I'll give it some more time though, right? It's still early days. And also, it's beautifully photographed. I mean, some of these shots of Clara specifically in that really specific lighting, oh my goodness. It's stunning. It's stunning stuff. It really is. That one shot of her felt like it was right out of Blade Runner. The beautiful lighting on her cheek, on her jawline, and yeah, a bit of it on her cheek as well, outlining her face. There's a lot of jokes on Clara's, or at Clara's expense. It kind of continues. It's a bit of a pattern at this point, right? It's a bit of an ongoing thing. Essentially, this doctor, the 12th Doctor, doesn't really recognize her beauty, or he just doesn't see her in that light, essentially, right? But there's a lot of mean-spirited jokes at her expense, but it kind of evens out because there's a lot of smacking going around as well. So to me, it's this playful banter, I suppose, and I don't mind it. I kind of like that dynamic they have, that they are able to be like this around each other, right? Be open in this manner around each other, because you could tell they're not really taking offense to any of this. But yeah, I think that might do it for this one, folks. I'll be honest, I kind of need to watch that again, at least one more time, and I'll try to check it out. I'll try to check it out and sneak it in. And anytime I do get to check it out again, I'll probably bring up some more thoughts on it as well down the line. I'll kind of sneak it into another episode's discussion. Maybe I'll have a little update portion on this. It's certainly one that deserves to be rewatched a few times, right? I can see myself going back to it a few times, right? And a lot of times, episodes that feel like you can get much more out of them on multiple viewings, there's something great about those episodes, right? But yeah, it was just really quite surprising to see a young doctor going all the way back to that point. They've alluded to this. The one I can really think of is, the Madame de Pompadour and the 10th Doctor's psychic link. She could see and sense essentially how rough and how sad his childhood was. She sensed a lot of pain, right? And I think there was another few moments, even before that perhaps, that alluded to this upbringing, the sad upbringing that he had. Or the sad childhood he had. But you see that, he goes on to do his thing as well. And also, before I sign off, please tell me there's a Lego set. I just thought of it, how incredible a Lego set could be of the interior of the TARDIS, right? I'm not sure if that's a thing, but I know I'm going to Google it right after this, because that'd be cool. That could be really cool. But yeah, I think that should do it for this one, folks. If you enjoyed it, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments. Give me your thoughts on this one, for sure. If you're interested in early access to the next few episodes, or perhaps even full length, timer-based full length, of course, folks. You cannot include the entire episode footage. But yeah, if you are interested, check out the links in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media, if that's your thing. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.